Hey guys, and welcome to a peculiar game of Total War Warhammer 3. I'm a Rubber Duck War, but today we have a showcase between the mighty forces of Lupi, leading his glorious Slaaneshi host, taking on Khorne and their rampaging blood god. It's been typically a bad matchup for Slaanesh in the past, I feel like. I just feel like the infantry of Khorne can really overwhelm Slaanesh quite badly, though I know a lot of people have different opinions on that as well, but we'll have to see how this one does indeed fare. For the forces of Slaanesh, we have a load of demonettes in the front. It looks like triple demonette, backed up by a bucket ton of marauders of Slaanesh, some with spears and some basic lads. So quite a large infantry corps in general for the forces of Slaanesh, led by a nasty herald, who does have Pit of Shades, which is quite cool, and I believe that is a withering. Let's double check that spell. It is indeed Enfeebling Foe. Good news, we checked it there. A nice cheeky little debuff. Looks like on the high ground as well, we did have some cavalry, but they've quickly swanned down into the middle. We have some Hellstrider of Slaanesh Hell Scourgers, 1, 2, 3 of those bad boys. In the back, we have the Khorne player now, and he's kind of hiding in the trees. This is understandable in the early game up against Slaanesh. You don't want their cavalry to get up and behind you and cut off your reinforcements. It can be a little bit rough there. So for the main force, though, of the Glorious Warriors of Khorne, we have Exalted Bloodletters, Hellforge Host, and yet another unit of Exalted Bloodletters, really looking to get those kills up early so they can get a big boon in the mid to late game with their buffs, which they get after a set amount of kills. Let's see how much it actually is. They have to get 80 kills there to get an increase to base weapon damage and armor piercing. Armor piercing not going to be super useful against Slaanesh, but the weapon damage always will be. We'll then have the double cheeky cultists of Khorne. I really wish these guys got debuffed, man. They are so powerful cultists. Both, of course, coming in with their summon. And then we have the Herald of Khorne leading the battle line. And it looks like, for now, the Khorne player is going to simply be sitting back and vibing. So we're going to fast forward to the action here. And it looks like the objectives are starting to get ready to be capped. And the Slaanesh player is moving forward. He's having a little bit of a poke with his Hellstriders. And the Khorne forces are finally moving up through the trees, looking to get to grips with the enemy a little bit. But Slaanesh simply going to fall back. They've got time on their side. They have complete map control at the moment. Looks like they've got a unit up here ready to cap Objective 3 if it comes to it. And they can instantly cap Objective 1. Always good to get a 2 cap early on. So it looks like we are seeing a bit of a bait here. The Hell Scourgers move forward, bait out some of the Spawn and Bloodletters who are simply vibing in the trees for now. And it looks like we have the early double cap now coming in for Slaanesh. So up in the high ground, we have some sneaky little whips catching the top objective, and now the fighting finally is underway. Lovely little cycle charge onto the Exotic Bloodletters. They're pretty gnarly though, and alongside the Spawn, you can really trap in cavalry. It looks like the Hellstriders took significant damage on the way in as well. We do have some Seekers of Slaanesh being summoned, as well as triple Doggos. 2 Flesh Hounds, and actually 3 Flesh Hounds, my god, have been summoned to the battlefield. Likewise, we have a Seeker Chariot here. Khorne player instantly goes on to Objective 2, but it's going to have to start pushing pretty early doors, and a lot of players do this kind of mistake where they, okay, I want to get the comeback bonus, so I'm not really going to fight that much in the start. I'm going to let my opponent build up, and I'm going to triple cap you in the latter stages, and it certainly can work, but it's a very risky move to attempt to pull off here. Hellforge Host takes significant damage, it would seem, unfortunately for them. Pit of Shades catches a load of them, getting them down to about half HP. In the distance, the cavalry has jumped on top of the Flesh Hounds, which initially is a good engagement here for Slaanesh, but they're now being pinned in by a second unit of Flesh Hounds, and this has allowed the Exalted Demonettes, or Exalted Demons, sorry, not Demonettes, as well as the Spawn to really move in and start to engage with the infantry. Likewise, we have some Bloodletter summons, and as well as Fury summons all being chucked into the party here, and that's going to be some pretty scary stuff. Seekers of Slaanesh are trying their best and hardest, but in come the Bloodletters now. Oh, looks like it was actually cancelled there, interestingly enough. Locust of Grace does go down, but likewise does a Locust of Wrath. That's really going to help out the lads. Now, Flesh Hounds are starting to go down pretty quickly, but this middle course can actually do significant damage. Flesh Hounds with 86 melee attack, as well as magical attacks, is really scary stuff. And you can see the Seekers are actually starting to struggle quite badly here. The Lord and Heroes are doing a nice job, and in come those Bloodletters finally. Should be able to cleave and hack at the enemy cavalry. Looks like they're attempting to pull back as well. We've got some forces on the left trotting away, but they are now broken. Really bad engagement now for Slaanesh up in the front. We do have Seeker Chariots doing a decent job though on the right-hand side. We have a nice isolation by the Slaanesh player, catching out the Hellforge Host and Spawn with multiple units, including the Demonettes, doing some lovely damage there. But despite that, the Hellforge Hosts are just slaughtering their way through countless amounts of Slaaneshi forces. The Exotic Bloodletters are hunting down the enemy as well. So despite the fact there's a lovely early double cap here, in fact it's going to be an early triple cap, you know, the Khorne player seems to be trading relatively effectively, and of course might be able to steamroll his opponent in the latter stages of the battle. Halberds and Fleshhounds are moving in to engage the enemy now. Looks like the Halberds are the reinforcing unit there. Exotic Bloodletters do now have the Blood Fury upon them. Blood is seeping into their blades, and they know no bounds in their hunger and hatred, carving their way through Marauders of Slaanesh like no tomorrow. It's a decent situation in the back here for Khorne. The Seeker Chariots are bounding around up to no good, starting trouble in the neighbourhood. Seekers of Slaanesh alongside the Herald of Slaanesh will be just tanking enemies where possible, going toe-to-toe with the cultists and trying to break them down. Locust of Grace pops on the Seekers, trying to keep those bad boys in action as long as possible. And I love this chariot play coming by the Slaanesh player, just going to be bounding around the back line and harassing and annoying the enemy reinforcements. In the main fight, it looks like Slaanesh have just had this unit surrounded for an absolute age, but this is what I'm talking about with Khorne against Slaanesh. They just don't care. They just carve their way through the enemies so effectively, the infantry here. And it looks like the Demonists are trying their best. The spawn are also being broken down, and due to some lovely surround play here by the Slaanesh player, they should be able to win that engagement. We do have some more Seekers of Slaanesh moving in to engage with the Fleshhounds. Not a bad attack order whatsoever. Herald is going to fall back, though she is running away from those pesky Halberds. Druids have jumped onto Fleshhounds. Not a bad fight for those boys there. Exalted Bloodletters are carving their way through Marauders once more. And if we have a little overarching view of the battlefield, Khorne definitely has a better army left standing. They're winning this engagement over here despite being surrounded for so long. They're also winning in the front line. However, they have been triple capped, and they're currently at 3,000 tickets to only 690. They need to start capping, and they need to start capping fast. The Exiled Bloodletters are trying their hardest to grind their way through the Furies, who have been sacrificed lamb to the slaughter style, just to pin the enemy back as long as possible. And Double Seekers here trying their best to really force their way through this hero core. Unfortunately, the Horn of Khorne goes down, though, and that's going to allow the cultists to overwhelm the Herald. These guys are making some weird noises right now, Velociraptor style, and the Herald of Khorne does get enfeebling fairy popped on him, but it looks like he may well be victorious. We have a couple more infantry units, just haggard units of Slaanesh moving in. We're about to get a fat pit of shades go down. Is it going to catch the Exiled Bloodletters? Oh, it catches a few of them. It's going to do a decent amount of damage there, but the majority of models were able to escape. We do have Hellstriders moving up, as well as Marauders of Slaanesh trying to stem the tide where possible. We get an early summon of Bloodletters once again in this engagement on the far side, and it looks like the Herald is going to go into a hot retreat here. Hellstriders are moving up, but it looks like it is time for the triple cap return, hopefully, for the Khorne player. He's still not pushed objective 2, though. He's got some Halberds on the way. It looks like his Fleshhounds were intercepted by some Marauders of Slaanesh alongside their Hellstrider counterparts here. Look at the ground, just spawn all over the place. It's a sad day for spawn all around. We need to do more for, treating our spawn a bit nicer. They're kind of already horribly mutilated and stuff. We should probably stop making them fight each other. Now, it looks like the Khorne player has complete dominance on the battlefield. He's getting a massive comeback bonus, and at the same time, his army is huge compared to what Slaanesh can offer, and he is going for the troll cap, but he's starting to run out of time. 4,420 tickets. He's captured Objective 1. It is still a double cap, though. Objective 2 is yet to be claimed by the forces of Khorne, and Objective 3 is taking its sweet time. Now, there's only Fleshhounds on there for now, but there are Halberds moving up. If we can get some cavalry on top of that, it may slow down the cap a little bit longer, which may allow Slaanesh to be victorious. Objective 2 is being capped. It's taking its sweet time, though. 4,670 tickets. Halberdiers are almost on Objective 2 here. And it looks like all the other units are pushing up. I love this play of the Hellstriders, though, trying to shut down this objective, but the Khorne player, he's not having it at all. The Fleshhounds will countercharge the enemy, allow the Halberdiers to take over the capture point, and hopefully claim it. It is still a 2-for-1 cap, though. 4,890 tickets. 4,900 tickets. Is it going to be enough? Objective 3 is starting to fall. Objective 2 is even closer, and it looks like Objective 2 is now for the forces of Khorne. Objective 3 is not. 1 second, 1 tick more, maybe 2, and Khorne would have won the game. Instead, Slaanesh are victorious, having played the objectives a bit better in the early game. And the Khorne player really going for that comeback bonus. I'm going to, sit back in the early game, just try and trade, do a lot of damage, and then push. And he pushed too late. The Slaanesh player doing some nice surrounds and bogging down the Khorne forces for as long as possible by sacrificing units on the front line. And I see so many players lose like this. It is absurd. It is a good strategy, and it can certainly pay off. But unless your timing's really good, and it was nearly great here by the Khorne player. I thought his army was well built. and it did a load of damage and so on, but not pushing early enough, not focusing on the objectives, trying to play this comeback game. It's against someone like Loopy, who's a very talented player who kind of has the timing down to a T. It is really, really hard to make it work, and it looks like it did, unfortunately, not pay off for the Khorne player. I love his build, though. The exotic bloodletters are always badass as hell. 1.2k value, 1,000 value, 843. Got big kills, though, and that's got to count for something. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a good fun 1-2 cast. Massive shout out to ODM's Loopy for sending this one in. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Both things help the channel massively, and we're dangerously close now to the 10,000 subscriber mark. Feel free to comment down below what you thought of the battle, what you'd like to see in the future, and all that goodness. There's a load of links down below as well, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week and weekend. I think, well, the day this video comes out, it's probably going to be Friday there, but enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys soon. Peace, and stay awesome.